What's up guys, Styler here, and I'm going to be doing another talk video where I'm just talking about some stuff that I feel needs discussing and needs kind of basically talking about. So I'm doing a BG on my Enhanced Shame, and this is my new tune for US. I'm going to be playing this as a main come Mr. Pandaria for US, and I'm going to be raiding on this, so hanging up my ret sword or whatever, wings for US, and I'm going to be picking up the elements. So really enjoyed Enhance. It was a bit, when I was leveling it, it was like Enhance is kind of face roll at the time, like it's whack-a-mole, but since the changes in 5.0.4, there's a lot more behind the class, which kind of edged me towards wanting to play it as a main. There's just a load of really cool mechanics behind it, and there's a load more utility and abilities. So I found that really cool, and I'm going to be playing Enhance for US. Still going to be playing out my EU ret. I don't know what I'm going to be doing on EU, whether it's just casual raiding or PvP, I'm not too sure. But anyway, so yeah, Enhance is the new US character. He's called Psyduck, S-Y-I-D-U-C-K, if people want to keep track or whatever. He's on Fire Tree, US Horde, and that's where my guild is if anyone's interested. That's one. So what I'm going to be talking about is there's two major topics. The first is going to be cross-realm zones, and this is something that's new and stuff, and I'll get into that very shortly, but it's something that's kind of made me scratch my head a little bit and go, why? And also I'm going to be talking about the PvP power and resilience. Now I don't have any PvP gear on this tune, and you'll see that very shortly, that I've not got any PvP gear. So I'm going to be talking about cross-realm zones and how they've affected the game and what they actually do and stuff like that. So if you're unfamiliar with what they are, it's a new system that's recently been implemented, and basically what it allows is, if I'm on Fire Tree, which is a lower populated server, normally you won't see too many people out and about, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It is a PvP server, so you'll see a few Alliance, you'll see a few Horde, you know, there'll be an occasional skirmish. It's nothing like millions of people everywhere, which is cool. I kind of prefer the lower populated servers. But with the new change, for example, if I'm in Oldham, I've been in Oldham a lot, getting my camel statues, if the zone's not very populated, you'll start seeing people from other servers in the battle group. For example, I see a lot of Frostmain in the dungeons and in the zones and stuff. So the idea behind it is, oh cool, there's going to be all these people now, your zones are going to feel more like full, your server's not going to feel as dead. Yeah, all these people. It sounds good in theory, but just stick with me, it brings a lot of issues, and I know that most of you will probably agree, some of you will disagree, but hopefully we'll come to equal terms by the end of this video. So what it's actually doing is a lot of things. For example, some of this information is what I've noticed while playing, and some I've just been reading the forums and thinking, wow, that's something I didn't even think about that's affecting it. But the main thing that's I've noticed is it's affecting rare mobs and rare spawns and stuff like that. So I could suddenly go from it being in my time zone to someone else's time zone, so I can't see that anymore, and you have to share it. And you know, like, so I could be looking for a camel statue, recording the times, getting it perfect, and all of a sudden the time zone changes, like the phase changes when I go back, and it's a different time zone, so it's a different phase, it's a different time that camel statue could spawn, which is a bit, you know, like, huh? And it's the same for like mining nodes and herbs. They're now shared, which means people who are on a populated servers coming into low populated ones and taking the herbs and stuff, which means the economy on the lower populated servers is already pretty bad because it's low populated, there's not as many people getting the items. There's going to be even less of those items to go around, which means prices are going to go up, and the economy on a low populated server is going to deteriorate because of this change, which is really a really big bad feature. It's also affecting things like, if you're doing the fishing derby and you go to do it, the time of it could actually change depending on what zone you're in. So I could go there every week and do it at the specific time, say I've just finished work and I managed to get there just in time. But now with the change it could be an hour earlier, so I've missed it because of this change. And it's like, why is this allowed to affect something that's a part of the server specifically? It's affecting server time zones, which people play on certain servers because of where they're based, because of the, you know, the time that they're on. It's also affecting things like as I said, time zones, like you go through Tanaris into Ungoro, one second it'll be light, and then you phase into the other zone and it's dark. And it's like, what? Why has it gone from light to dark? Because of the time zone changes. And because of this as well, you're getting people coming from other servers. Sorry for that knock. You're getting people from other servers who don't speak like English in a sense. So you're getting other languages coming onto the server that weren't there. So there's this language barrier all of a sudden, which isn't good. Like you go to a certain server, for example, there's on EU there's a lot of like country specific, so there'll be like an Italian server, and Italians you usually stick to that one server because of like that's where everyone speaks the same language and it's not too big of a deal. But if an Italian server starts mixing with an English one, then it's kind of like you know, what do we do? So that's really bad. And also it seems, now don't quote me on this one, but I've been flying through zones and I was flying behind a rogue earlier today, and he went from being friendly, like I couldn't attack him, to PvP flagged within 2 zones. So maybe it seems that the PvP zones and PvE zones are merged as well. So 1 minute you're in a PvE based server and the next you're in a PvP. So people who could be in a PvE server could be being flagged for PvP because they've joined a PvE server. They don't want to be flagged for PvP. So that seems weird. I don't know if it was just a what would you call it, a coincidence. But that could be something that's been affected by it as well. I mean, it kind of makes sense. What else? There's a million things. With us, I like Firetree because it is a smaller populated server, and I used to be on one a while ago on the EU called Alonzus, and you get to know people, you kind of know the community because it's a smaller server, you get to know people better. So some people go to a smaller server because they want a smaller server, not because they're like trapped there and they're like, oh, everyone's left, I'm stuck on a shit server. They go there because they want that quieter server. They don't want 1 million people and stuff like that. And with the change, now there's all these other servers like Frostmain and stuff just inhabiting places. And no offense to the server, but there's a lot of idiots on there, like just trying to do general stuff, and there's a lot of people on that server that are just there to shit on your day. And it's kind of like, why? Why, you know? So that's kind of annoying. Like, if you join a lower populated server for a reason, you're now being forced into a high populated server because of the change. And it's not unfair, but not very logical. The plan behind it seems a bit stupid. So, there's that. Now, what else have we got? There's a few bugs as well, but these can be fixed with time. For example, lag issues. When you go into different phases, you lag, and you lag for a few seconds. And it's like, well, I don't really want this to happen every time I go into a new zone. I don't want to lag out for a few seconds just because of this server issue. Apparently Tolbrad and Wintergrasp are controlling issues, so Alliance and Horde are controlling it at the same time, depending on what server you're going through. It's like, Now, there are a few good things, and we'll get to them later on, but there's a lot of bad. So, with me being on Firetree, camping rares is kind of easy because there's less competition, but now with the cross-server thing, there's a lot more competition. There's all these people suddenly appearing for the same mobs that I was camping for, and you know, if you'd put so much time in, and then all of a sudden there's like 20 other people camping it, it's like, wait, what? Why are these people here? These weren't here normally, these haven't been sort of sitting out thick and thin on this server, they've been on another server. So now you're sharing those rare mobs, when before you wouldn't, they'd all have their own mobs. Which is kind of cool because it'd make rares more rare, but it kind of sucks because you having to share it with multiple servers, so it's going to make them nigh impossible at times. What else we got? Hold on, bear with me. I had a list. What else we got? Oh, this is strange. So if there's people doing like being dicks, basically just calling you, like being all like, yo, you're a fucking retard and stuff like that, just being a general douche, you can't report them if they're on another server at the moment. Pardon me, at the moment anyway, because it says that they're not on that server, the player can't be found. So it kind of takes away that. and you're fighting with people on other servers now instead. So you're getting these bigger guilds coming along just to, like, so for example, if you come up against you're on a horde server that's not very PvP orientated, and you matched with a PvP orientated alliance server, and you're on a PvP server, you know, they're going to be forming and looking to sort of gank, and you know, so it ends up being less horde v alliance. Even if you're on a, like, some people join a high populated horde realm for a reason, they don't want the alliance kind of there, while others do equal for PvP, and now that's kind of going to be changed. So if you're on a high pop horde server, you're going to be mixed with alliance, and it's like, huh? But on the flip side, it works well for those who are on those servers. I don't know why they've not moved, but if, for example, they can't afford it and don't want to level a new character, like, that'll be a good thing for them, because they'll actually have people there and stuff like that. But those people being there, like, sorry, I'm getting a bit tongue-tied. Those people being there won't affect the server. It's not going to help with population. It's kind of just like fake population. It's not going to allow low-populated servers to recruit more people to the guilds, because people from these other servers can't be invited to your guild. So what's the point in them being there? You can't recruit them. They can't join you in doing like raids and stuff. Well, I guess they can join you in doing raids, but they can't join you in your guild and stuff like that. They're only just there on the server, you know? So it's kind of like fake population. It's not really fixing the issue of low and high populated servers and stuff like that. It's kind of just band-aiding it. It's like a temporary fix. And the system feels like it was implemented without any real thought behind the consequences when it was made. They kind of put it in and were like, oh yeah, this is what people want. I mean, there was very little information about it when it was first released. Like, I said this as soon as I found out about it. I was like, where the hell did that come from? All of a sudden they're like, oh, we're introducing cross-realm zones. Huh? That's a big change. Why has this been quiet for so long? Why is this suddenly now just like, oh yeah, we're just implementing that, you know, it's fine, it's a small change. Like, no, that's a game-changing change. That's groundbreaking. That's a big change to the game. That's something that needs thorough testing. It needs a lot of testing, we'll go with. It can't just be whacked in and then worked on throughout there. It needs to actually be fully working before it's implemented. And that's what I feel is the case here. They're kind of testing it as they go along instead of actually making sure it's fully working before it's fixed. So, I don't like it. I really don't like it. You can't even talk with them in general and trade and stuff like that. So it really is just like a fake population, and there's more things wrong with it than I probably said here. There's some good things, but imagine being on an RP server and being mixed with people, I don't know if this can happen, but being mixed with people who aren't on an RP server. So then you've got people who don't understand, like, I don't RP, so I don't fully understand what the hell's going on with RP, you know? I know they roleplay the characters, but me coming along and just being like, hi guys, they'd be like, what are you doing? Thou shall not talk out of context, you know, all that crap. That's ruining their immersion into the game, because they like to roleplay, and people coming along who aren't roleplaying, aren't a part of their server, aren't following the roleplaying rules. And it's the same in general. People just coming along who aren't a part of your server and just kind of ruining it in a sense, you know? So don't really think the change is good at the moment. Now, the reason they've implemented it is because of this fake idea of world PvP. And that's part of the reason it's been introduced, because people want world PvP back. Now that's fine, yeah, world PvP, woo. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. If I'm out in the world doing quests and dailies and grinding for stuff, I don't want someone coming along and just killing me while I'm trying to get stuff done. You know, like, fair enough, if they enjoy it, then go. There should be world servers out there that they can go to where the other faction wants to do that with them. There's some servers who have a high side on the other side that wants to do world PvP and doesn't on the other side, so merge them servers together, the ones that do on each side, so it's an actual Horde v Alliance world PvP. A lot of people say world PvP, this is getting into a completely different topic, but a lot of people say like world PvP's gone and all this crap, but it's more that people don't want to do it. If world PvP's really gone, then why aren't... It's simple to set up events, it's simple to set up like world PvP events where you fight a horde via alliance. You know, there's forums. You can go, right, we're gonna alliance, come and face us at blah blah at this time. Let's do this. You know, see who's the best. But that just doesn't really happen. There's some servers that I know that organise it still, like for example Outland EU. Their horde organised a proper raid on Stormwind, where they tried to walk through the gate instead of flying, which was cool. And they actually set up world PvP events. Other people see world PvP as just kind of killing people when they're just generally doing things, and I don't personally see the fun in that. I mean, what's the fun in killing someone who doesn't want to fight, you know? It's kind of like, imagine a BG suddenly being merged with a raid. They're suddenly trying to kill a new boss, Elgon or whatever it's called. All of a sudden, a Warsong Gulch 10-man appears in the raid. So then those 10 people are trying to kill like this raid group that's trying to kill a boss. It's like, no, they don't want to fight you, they want to fight the raid boss. And you'll say, yeah, they should move to PvP, PvE servers and stuff, but people don't join servers based on PvE or PvP anymore. They join because of the actual server, the guilds that are on there and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. But I've got a lot of other opinions on world PvP. But what I'm trying to say is this doesn't seem to fix the world PvP issue. It just doesn't. It doesn't really make sense in terms of fixing it. I mean, I went to Suffolk Halls the other day, and there was people sat outside Suffolk Halls just waiting to kill people who were trying to get the mount. You know, doing the daily mount run and all. I mean, full PvE gear. I land, I get killed. It's like, what? Why are you just sat there in stealth, just waiting to kill people who are trying to do the mount run? Like, you have nothing else better to do. You know? Fair enough if they find that fun, but I just don't see the logic behind it. I really don't. So there are some good things, and as I said, it adds more world PvP to the game, but I just don't feel world PvP is there. It adds more people to a server that were dead, so if you're trying to get groups of stuff like the world, the arenas and stuff like that for questing, it helps with that. And it helps kind of cut down on the overpopulated servers and helps increase population on underpopulated, but it feels just like a false population. Once again, it allows you to play with people from other servers, so your friends and stuff like that. That's a really cool feature. And there's a few suggestions to fix it. Like, I'm not going to read through them, but you know, increase node respawns, keep pets and rares and stuff like that phased. You know, maybe make it optional, restrict levels, free transfers. That's one thing that I don't know why is in the game, or you know, free transfer price reduced and stuff like that could be something that needs introduced into the game. So, yeah. Now, in the final thing I wanted to talk about was the PvP change, and this once again makes sense in BGs, but doesn't make sense out of BGs. As you see in this BG, I get absolutely crushed because I'm in no PvP gear. I'm in full PvE gear, and I get raped all the time. That's fine. That's how it should be. If you go into a BG with full PvE gear on, and you get killed, then that makes sense. You're not geared for this type of combat. But outside of the world, I've been being killed in full PvE gear and not stood a chance. Like, literally been like stun locked and dead. Because I do no damage to them and they just do too much damage to me. So I don't understand why it's there in the world PvP aspect. So if I'm on a PvP server, I need to go grind a full set of PvP gear and constantly wear that, even though I'm doing PvE related things, just so I don't get one shot. You know, it's a strange concept, and I'm once again not too sure what the idea behind it was. I think that it either needs reducing outside of world PvP, of battlegrounds and stuff in the PvP zones, or it just needs removing completely from outside of BGs and stuff. Because it just doesn't feel right, it feels very clunky. It might scale better at 90, and I hope it does, but at the moment it just doesn't feel like it works. I go and do quests and stuff, and I'm being killed without even standing the remote chance of, you know, fighting back. And then I res up and I'm dead again. It's like, what can I do in this situation apart from take res sickness and fly away with my tail between my legs, you know? I can't res and change my gear even if I had it, so what's the purpose behind this? Now, before, at least, if I've met someone in the world, because I'm in full PvE gear, I stood a chance. Now, as I said, it makes sense for battlegrounds to do this, because if you're going into a battleground in full PvE gear, you should be destroyed because you're going into a PvP situation. But in a general PvE/PvP like zone, if you're doing dailies and stuff and you get killed and you don't stand a remote chance because you're in full PvE gear trying to get it done quicker, it kind of just ruins it. Now, once again, personal opinions on all this, but that's my 2 cents on the whole situation. I don't really like some of the changes, but in general, MOP is awesome. I'm not saying that the expansion's bad at all. I'm really looking forward to the expansion and the things that's coming with it. Just a couple of things that I think need tweaking before we actually see the patch. In my opinion, I think there's cross-realm zone thing needs removing for the time being and maybe testing better on a beta server or a PTR server before it comes back. So, thanks for watching guys. I got completely destroyed in this BG. Look out for more videos coming soon. Ciao.